I want to do a little bit of a then and now for you here. Many of you have written in and said, David, I've been looking at old videos of the failed former president, Donald Trump. And it's very much true what your mental health and cognitive health experts have said. It was a completely different Trump. It was a Trump whose vocabulary was so much richer. It was a Trump whose rapidity was so much more noticeable. So let's do a little then and now. This is one of Donald Trump's first major television interviews in 1980. He was asked, do you want to be president? And you will see that he's articulate, he is charismatic, and his vocabulary is far richer than it is today. Let's start here.
Just for 10 minutes.
For some people, the ultimate goal in life has been becoming the President of the United States. Would you like to be the President of the United States?
I really don't believe I would run it, but I would like to see somebody as the president who could do the job, and there are very capable people in this country.
Most people who are capable are not running for office. Most men are frightened of politics today.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a shame. The most capable people are not necessarily running for political office, and that is a very sad commentary on the country. They had major corporations and they had this and that, but they are not running for political office.
Why wouldn't someone like yourself run for political office? You have all the money that you possibly need. You've accomplished a great deal, even though you are only 34. I know there's a lot of things that you possibly can do in the years ahead. Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And
All right, so very articulate, quick thinking, coherent in every way. Now, you might say, David, it's so unfair to compare 2024 Trump to 34-year-old Trump from 40-something years ago, 44 years ago. But even in 2015, Trump was very, very much more with it. And also in 1992. Let's start with 92. Here's Trump on Letterman in 1992, and it is nothing like what you see today.
Are you solvent?
Well, I've had a hell of a year. I've had a good year. I had a miserable year last year, along with everybody else in the real estate industry. But this year has been, as you know, sort of from reading the New York press, a good year for me. And the politicians killed the real estate industry, and we've done great.
Now, see, I don't know what that means when you say the politicians killed the real estate industry. What does that mean?
1986, they passed a tax change, the 1986 law, which really, you look at what happened with Olympia, New York, and Reichman and everybody else, and it's big trouble.
They lost incentives. Real estate no longer became a good place to put your dough.
Exactly, and it's coming back strong now. And we've worked hard over the last 6 months, and I think we have really done a job.
So stunning, really. I mean, this is not a Donald Trump that we have seen certainly for several years. And then in 2015, also, Trump asked in a different interview, what is it you want people to know about you? And it is just a completely different guy.
What's one thing that you would like people to know about you that they don't, especially those who are dismissive of your campaign?
Well, I think the one thing is I'm a nice person. I love helping people. I have great relationships with people. People think of me as not necessarily nice, but they think of me as very competent. You know, it was very interesting. A woman heard a speech, and I got a very high poll number, but on leadership, I was by far the highest, by many times. On finance and economics and the economy, I was number one by many, many times. I was killing everybody.
But what about niceness?
Except on niceness, I was like last. And I said to the people, it was crazy, a CNN poll. And I said to the people, I said, you know, it's sort of interesting. Number one, I think I am a nice person. I help people. And a woman came up to me, she said, but are you nice enough to be president? I said, I hope I am. I think I'm a nice person.
All right, so you get the point. Trump speaking with the facility, engaging with the interviewers in a way that is much more tuned in to what's going on around him, able to sort of read the real meaning of these questions and addressing it. And then all of a sudden now, we are left with this.
I heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Trump not only relying on a teleprompter, even with the prompter, often unable to speak. Trump confusing Nikki Haley and Nancy Pelosi, as many of you know. And as Dr. Harry Siegel and Dr. John Gartner pointed out, he doesn't realize he's done it. He doesn't correct himself and just keeps on going.
You know, by the way, they never report the crowd on January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley, you know, did you know they destroyed all of the information, all of the evidence, everything, deleted and destroyed all of it, because of lots of things. Like Nikki Haley is in charge of security. We offered her 10,000 people, soldiers, National Guard, so whatever they want. They turned it down. They don't want to talk about that.
An extraordinarily confused Trump is now the norm. And of course, many times confusing Joe Biden and Barack Obama on the campaign trail.
Putin, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word today. You heard that, nuclear. He's starting to talk nuclear weapons today. I was waiting for that to happen. But
and of course, Putin is probably not thinking very much about Obama since Obama's not the president of the United States. This is happening all the time. Trump genuinely confused about what's going on, saying that it was Barack Obama that was defeated by Joe Biden.
State against Biden, in the largest margins ever. You know what was interesting? Joe Biden won against Barack Hussein Obama. Has anyone ever heard of him?
And of course, the crowd realizing, oh my goodness, he's doing it again. Trump regularly insisting you need ID to buy bread, even though this is, of course, not the case.
They're bad at policy. They have no idea what they're doing. They have open borders. They have no voter ID. They don't want voter ID. I saw on the television one of these characters. There shouldn't be voter ID. Now, you have voter ID to buy a loaf of bread. You have ID to buy a loaf of bread.
And of course you don't, but Trump keeps insisting that you do, getting confused about when do you need ID. Many times Trump confusing the terrorist group Hamas with the delicious chickpea spread hummus.
Heard about today, the Hamas terrorist invasion. I mean, when you think about, and what do you think of Hamas? What do you think? Do you know about Hamas?
Right. Hummus, Hamas, Baba Ganoush, it's all very confusing. And of course, Donald Trump with just endless examples of this, talking about communists and markers rather than what he wants to say, which is Marxists. And this is another example of Trump's phonemic paraphasias. Very detailed explanation of those in my interview with Dr. John Gartner.
I will also order our government to deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look, we have Marxists, fascists, communists. They're pouring into our country.
So listen, it's obviously a very different Trump. It's obviously a very different Biden. But so far, all of the experts we've spoken to, and this comes up in my forthcoming appearance on the Iced Coffee Hour, all of the experts we've spoken to say, with Biden, you see reasonable and expected age-related slowing down. With Trump, you see really concerning signs, and the contrast is extraordinary. Let me know your thoughts on this. Is the then and now comparison useful? Let me know what you think. If you've been thinking about getting a new mattress, Helix Sleep is where I would start. I've been sleeping on Helix mattresses for years now. I recommend Helix to everyone, which is why I wanted them as a sponsor. If you don't want to take my word for it, Helix has been awarded #1 mattress by both GQ and Wired magazine. And one of the things that makes Helix unique is their sleep quiz. I didn't really know what kind of mattress would be best for me, but you do this short sleep quiz. You answer questions about your body type and your preferences, what position you like to sleep in, and Helix will match you with the perfect mattress for you. So you know you're actually getting something tailored to your needs instead of going in blind like most people do. I got my Helix mattress designed to stay cool at night since I hate getting hot while I sleep. Shipping is always free. You get 100 nights to decide whether you like it. My audience gets a huge 20% discount off of all orders, plus 2 free pillows. Go to helixsleep.com/Pacman and enter code HelixPartner20 at checkout. The link is down below.